Welcome back to Locker Room Dads, hosted by myself, Pat O'Donnell, punter for the Green Bay Packers, and Josh Brinzo, brewery owner. We are both fathers of two amazing daughters. But this week's guest on the podcast is a former Akron Zips who grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's a giant amongst men, measuring in at 6'10". He is the tallest locker room dad that we have ever had on the show so far. Please welcome Kwan Cheatham to the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me, man. I'm excited to get it going.
Yeah, Kwan, thanks for being here. This is our first basketball player on the show, Pat, so I'm pretty excited about this one.
This is big. This is huge right now. But what's going on in your world, man? I know you got a big week coming up. I know we probably caught you on your off day, right? Wednesday's your recovery day. Got a little massage. What do we do?
Yep. So for today, I had a massage, but unfortunately it got canceled. So we're gonna have to push that back for tomorrow night. But just training. So I just got back overseas a little over a month ago, and this is crazy. I usually take like a month off it's been a long 9-10 month season, but something told me to just take 2 weeks. So I started back up in June, training 4 times a week. I found a trainer up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, who trains some of the Steeler guys and some of the NFL guys also. And I found a basketball trainer who I went to college with, and we've been at it for 4 days a week for the last month. And like a couple of weeks ago, I got a call for this big opportunity coming up this week. So I'm excited.
Nice.
Well, we love it.
We're in your corner, man. But for all the dads listening out there, what does it mean for you to just get back into it? Are you shooting in the gym? Are you working out? Like, what are you doing right now?
So like the first week, you kind of like come into it slow. Like you've been like you're like I literally just took a complete stop. I stopped my diet, stopped working out, stopped everything. So you come home, you enjoying the American food and enjoying some foods that you're not supposed to eat, but you have to indulge. And then, but yeah, after that first week is always tough, like lifting weights in the morning and then coming on the court and then just slowly shooting and getting the cardio back and then just trying to get back into game shape is always the worst. Like I always say, why did I take this time off? But I know that my body needs it because you always feel like you're about to throw up the first couple workouts and you're just like, man, like, was it really worth it? But yeah, it's just slowly progressing up back into getting back into playing shape, really.
No, that's awesome. In the off season, I always struggle too, because I'm like, how much time do you take off? And then now throwing the kids into the mix, it adds a whole nother dynamic. I don't know if your wife's cool with you just leaving for like 4 hours and being like, this is like my time, I'm back by noon. But now I understand why all the dads like got the early workout in. You know what I mean? Like they're at the 7 o'clock group, and I'm like, why are these guys in here so early?
Yeah, the thing is with her, like she's a former basketball player, so she kind of understands, but it's also now that we added another child into the mix, so she's dealing with 2 kids on her own, and then we have a 2-year-old Tyler who's just running rampant and just controlling the house basically, and I have to be gone 4 or 5 hours in the morning. It sucks, but also she understands that like this is my job, and to get to where I got to get to, like this is the little bit of sacrifice that we deal with. So like I said, I'm glad I have her in my corner, and just like her being there and understanding and her going down the same path as me also, it really helps a lot. And I said I really like it brings me a sense of relief that she understands that yeah, I'm gone, but she knows that this is what's best for our future. So it's perfect.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I want to touch on the kids real quick after I ask this question, because I have to know your basketball career has been awesome to talk with Josh about before the show. Like a lot of guys don't get the college experience, then you got to go overseas, and now you're about to have the opportunity to be in the NBA. So what was your process like? Was it easy for you? You got a scholarship right out of high school. Was it one that you kind of had to work for, go to different camps and get recruited that way?
So I would say, I was what they would call a late bloomer. So I grew 6 inches between my sophomore and junior year of high school. So I was a guard playing 6'3", like 6'2", 6'3", playing guard. And then one summer I had a crazy growth spurt, and I'm just like 6'8", 6'9", and I'm just like, dang, like what do I do? But it's good because as growing up, I always like to shoot threes. Like I was always like, and I used to get like ridiculed, like, oh, you're too big to be shooting threes, or you need to be in the paint, or you're soft, or you're this. But then now it's just like looking back on it, like seeing how like the game of basketball has evolved into taller guys like me being able to step out and shoot the three, and like
Yeah.
NBA teams and high level overseas teams like actually want that. So that's big. So it's like no, so I would say I really had to work for my scholarship offer. I think I only had Akron and then a couple more schools in the MAC. And but Akron was very big on me, and my parents always told me like, if you see that a head coach is coming to your games, not the assistant coach, but the head coach, that means that he really like sees something in you. And so, and another backstory is that I'm young, so I went to college when I was 17. So they were kind of worried, but he just always said
Wow.
like, this is where you're gonna grow and be a man. And yeah, and I can say that those 4 years at Akron were the like I had some up and downs for sure, but just like the college experience, learning everything, and then knowing that like college is a business, and then seeing what I went through and with like a lot of like stuff, but it was good. Like I would say overall, my college experience was amazing. Then like coming overseas, I really didn't know about overseas basketball any. Like I just thought that like I had a good senior year that I'm gonna be able to go to the NBA. But then when I'm on the phone with agents and they're like telling me that, yeah, like you probably won't be able to go to the NBA, so we're gonna have to like send you overseas to this and this country. I'm just like discouraged, like, no, like this is not what I want to hear. And I just had to come to the reality of it, like, if this is what I want to do and make good money playing basketball, like this is what I'm gonna have to do. So yeah, I would say it was tough, but like I said, as I just got done with my 5th year, it's for sure worth it, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to hear how hard it is, to get an NBA. They see the draft and everything, and I'm sure they think everyone gets drafted. Like it's so difficult,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, to be on that roster, especially I mean, if you're not one of the top 10 guys coming out, right? I mean, you know way better than
Right.
me.
No, for
It's
sure.
different
Yeah,
for
no, for sure.
football,
So
but like with basketball, I feel like it's so limited.
no, for sure. So basically, with every year, you have the first and second round draft. So the first round, I believe it's guaranteed, but the second round, so basically, you have 30 guys, and it's probably I don't know if it's close to 1,000 kids in college every year that are coming out, and they're fighting for spots. And no, it's tough, but a lot of people I don't know, a lot of people, like I said, I think that just being overseas is hard. Like, especially with my first year having to be away from your family across the world. Like, you're not just in college where you can make a quick phone call. Like, I was a 6 hour time difference from my family, and I'm 20 years old going over
Yeah.
there. And it's like, it's tough. And like, not a lot of people can handle it. A lot of people go over there and just like, are just like stuck to themselves in their rooms playing video games, like not like immersing themselves into the culture, which makes, if you don't do that, then the time just goes by slow and you're just like, you're miserable, and like it's not worth it. But like what I was told, like it was hard for me. Like I still remember the funny stories. Like my first day, I just got dropped. So I did my first year in Belgium, and I just got dropped off, and they said, "Yeah, we'll see you in 2 days." And like they didn't tell me anywhere to eat, and I just like I started crying because it's like I'm so uncomfortable being around, and I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. Like so, like but like yeah, like I said, it's like it's tough because it's just like you really only playing basketball maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and then you have the rest of the time to yourself. So it's tough, and if you're just not used to being alone and be like I said, to be successful, you have to be uncomfortable. If you're not used to being uncomfortable and you're just not, it's very tough, I would say, for sure.
When you went out to Belgium after college, was that your first time out of the country?
So basically yes, but I know my senior year, like, because in college in basketball, every 4 years you can take a out of the country trip. But we just went to the Bahamas. I don't know if that counts as being out of the country, but besides that, yes, that was my
Yeah.
first time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty eye-opening when you get into a completely different culture like that. So I can't imagine, coming out of college and ready to play ball and being in a new place like that. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, but just think about the
No,
story
yeah,
he's going to tell his kids.
I know.
I mean, your
It's
kids are going to be
awesome.
tall. You're probably the tallest in your class to begin with, but like your kids
yeah,
are going to be like, "Oh, Dad, I want." To be like, no, I had to work for this. You know what I mean? Like you got
right,
to work for things.
Yeah.
Like
right.
it wasn't just given to you. It's going to be such an amazing story, though. We're pulling for you this week, man. I know big things are about to happen for you. But let's jump into
Thank you.
dadhood. Yeah, man. So you have two kids, right?
Yes.
Two kids. What are their ages and
So
gender?
I
Boy,
have
girl,
a
or two girl?
2-year-old. So I have two boys. I have a 2-year-old Kyler Cheatham, and I have he would be 2 weeks tomorrow, and he's Carter, and they're both with K's with Kwan. We want to keep that going. So yeah.
I like
Nice.
that. Well, congrats on the newborn.
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
awesome.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So do you remember where you had your first kid? I'm assuming you did. I'm hoping it's out of the country. We never had this happen yet on the show. But was it in the States?
So yeah, so it was in the States, but it's a crazy story because this happened during COVID year when COVID hit. So he was due in April of 2020, and so I went in the beginning of the year. So from September to December, I was in Bulgaria playing for those 3 months, and then my wife, she flew out there. She was out there with me, and then I came home in December for a month, and then went to France from January to March. And then like when March like it hit, like everything started to get canceled, and I'm just in March, and I'm in France, and then they're talking about shutting down the international borders, and we're just all trying to figure out how to get home. And I'm like, man, I have a child that's going to be due next month. Like,
Jeez.
I need to get home. Like, not just I don't care about the money or anything. I
Yeah.
decided that like I need to get home just to like so I could be with my wife with all this craziness going on. So that was the story. And then yeah, like just we went to the same hospital for the first and the second one, just seeing like the big difference of like how it was like when COVID just hit to now is just like a big difference. And yeah, that was just like a crazy story that like we had a fresh COVID baby during that time. So that's a story that we'll always be able to tell him.
Yeah, we're amongst the coronials. My daughter was born
Corona.
in December of 2020, probably not right when the world shut down, but it is
Yeah.
definitely interesting having a kid in COVID. It's a story to tell them for sure. Um, so, do you remember your emotions when your first child came out? When your son came out, was there like an overwhelming rush of emotions like everyone talks about, or were you pretty calm, cool, collected during the process?
Um, I would say for me, I probably was a little bit of calm, cool, because I know my wife, she was just filled with emotions, like, and it was just like she always wanted to have a family. Like, I remember her telling me a story, like when she was a kid, and the teacher would ask her, like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Like she said, just she wanted to be a mom, and she always wanted to have a family. Like not even play basketball, but she always wanted to have a family. So I knew like she was gonna be the one filled with emotions, and you need to be able to balance that out. So I think I was the calm, cool. Like I was so excited, like having a boy. Like I'm gonna try to teach him everything I know. I know he's gonna be tall. Like it's just like like I was very excited, but also I just knew that like I don't know. I just always think of like the future, like just having to show him like what like the craziness in
Yeah.
the world, and like he's gonna be like traveling with me everywhere around the world. So just, but like I said, like no, I would say I was the calm one, and my wife was filled with the emotions for sure this time around.
I think it's good to always have one calm one going in there because it is really stressful.
No, for
100%.
sure.
I mean, that's probably why they tell the dads to sit down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they always like, do you get queasy like with blood? Like, you want to sit on this? And like, no, 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 I'm good. And then they just pass out.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
gone.
But were there any things that dads out there that are expecting kids here in the coming months or down the road for them that your wife had to have at the hospital? Because someone going in there for the first time, they probably don't know what to expect. They read all these books and they say, get your bag packed
Yep.
and like all that. But there's like always something that your wife either gravitates to or a certain food that she needed to have with her. Did your wife have anything specific that she wanted or needed in the hospital?
So I wouldn't say she specifically needed anything like specifically, but I just know that she always need to have her snacks because sometimes the hospital food isn't the best. So and then I was always the one like having to,
Yeah.
can you go get me this? Can you go get me this food? Like I'm like this is not good to eat. Like I don't want to eat this. Like so she was very like that, but like you said, like being a husband, like you always want to make sure that your wife is comfortable and get her whatever she needs because I know that she's about to go through probably some of the most pain that she's ever been through. So you just make sure she's comfortable and her emotions are leveled so like the process can be as like smooth as possible. I know like with my wife with the first one we had to have a not an emergency C-section, but she just wasn't dilating past 5 centimeters, so we had to do that. And then like the second time around, we just went through just like the scheduled C-section, so she didn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, like she like I was just say as a former athlete, I feel like her recovery time has just been insane. Like we were up and out the hospital in 2 days this time around, and I say like she's a true warrior, and like I wish that yeah, like she's amazing. I can go all on about her, but yeah, like she's the best for sure.
No, it's so cool. I mean, because she's always your cheerleader for the games and whatnot, and you were her cheerleader. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like throughout
for
that
Yeah.
sure.
process, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. So, Pat and I both have babies on the way. So, first time around, everyone's always nervous, you know. How were you feeling second time as opposed to the first time? Was it a little easier?
Oh, it's so much easier. The before, the during, and the after. It's just like because kind of with the first one, you're so like on pins and needles with everything. Like, oh, like are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, is the baby moving? Like, can I like, do you feel anything? Like, and then like during like afterwards, like, does the baby breathing sound okay? Like, is the baby breathing? Like, we were so scared to go to sleep in the beginning because we just were like, we got to make sure the baby is breathing. But now it's just like with the second one, I feel like you kind of know, like, okay, we've kept one baby alive, so it's we kind of just know what we're doing, and we're just gonna because we were so sleep
Yeah.
deprived with the first baby. It was like, oh, it was bad, like it was really bad. But now I feel like with this one, we kind of have a grip on what Carter is doing. And I also feel like it's a big relief, and he's doing well. Like we just got back from his appointment. He's already made it back to his birth weight and some, so he's feeding very well. But like I said, like with the
Right.
second one, I feel like you kind of it's still kind of different, but you kind of know like the basics of stuff. 'Cause I remember with the first one, I was all into the internet, looking up everything, all into the books. Like she was just asking me everything, and I was yes, this is what you did. That, but now it's just like you have some experience, and I think experience is what teaches you best.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I didn't realize though, you just brought it up, is when you go to the appointment, the first one after the baby's born, they say like, "Oh, it needs to get back to the birth weight,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What? Where did the weight go?" Like this little baby's not running around losing weight. Like no, but that's like super important. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
they gotta make weight
Yeah,
for weigh in.
you got to bulk up,
Weighing,
give them
yep,
those protein
exactly,
drinks.
for
Those,
sure.
And what is it? It's all the water and fluids they lose, right?
I
Right
think
after
so.
birth.
So
Yeah,
I don't
that's what
know.
it is.
I
Yeah.
should know. I don't know. Quan, thank you for that. And I didn't know.
Yeah, for all you new dads out there though, that is definitely one thing to remember is the baby weight
The
at
baby,
birth.
yes, is going to be fluctuating. Yes, so your baby needs to make weight. Um, but the last thing for the hospital visit, because a lot of dads don't realize this, but you probably should understand how to put a car seat in the car
Yes.
when you leave the hospital. I mean, it's one of those things they make sure you have one, and then you carry it in, you carry it out.
Yeah.
But then when you get to the car, you're like, if you don't know what you're doing, like your wife is going to be so pissed off because she just wants to go home, and then you're deathly
You're
afraid.
fumbling around.
Yeah, you're fumbling around. Like if it's cold outside, your fingers don't work anymore to try to get YouTube. Uh, but yeah, what was your experience like? Were you versed in the car seat, or was it something where you're like, I'm just going to strap this in as tight as I possibly can and drive under the speed limit, like 10 miles an hour?
Oh, with the first one, man. So basically, so it like I said, like my wife was at home, like she was here in Pittsburgh and I was in France. So she was like, we were in contact, like trying to figure out what's the best car seat and trying to like, cause she was, so we bought one, but then like she didn't know how to put it together. So we had her brother-in-law, who they have 2 kids also, like he helped us with that. And then it's like, I think I remember, I don't know if this is still, they do it now, but you could go to like the fire department and they can put in the car seat for you to
Yes.
make sure it's like,
For
yeah,
sure.
to make sure it's right. So I think she actually went and did that to make sure. And then luckily we had our kids so close together, so we still used the one from the first one with our second one. So I got that all down packed like a pro now. So no problems with that.
Dude, that's so huge. But yeah, nugget of gold there. Go to your fire department and they will
Yeah.
install it for you if you
Don't
don't
call
know.
them. Go
Yeah.
there.
Go
Yeah.
there. Hey, how are you? Can you put this in?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Some of these car seats are really tough to put in because we got a new car seat and I was doing everything I could and it was still loose and you just had to use like the force of God to tighten that sucker up and it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
sometimes you don't even know if it's in properly, even though you look at the instructions.
You're like,
Like
this
it's
is exactly what I did.
yeah. But with your two boys, you being the basketball star that you are, is it important for you to teach them the game of basketball, or are you going to be one of those dads that kind of lets them feel it out, see what they want to do? You're going to be on the sideline, like cheering for them. You're going to be like that screaming dad, like those ones that always at AAU basketball
yeah.
tournaments that never played basketball, that like
LeVar.
super crazy. Like, calm down. Like, you don't even know basketball to begin with.
Yeah, so I mean, so I would say my 2-year-old, like he likes everything. Like, of course, the first thing I bought him was a hoop while we was just overseas in Spain, and he really like loves that. And now I'm trying to teach him how to shoot a proper jump shot by bending his knees and everything. But he also like I bought him a T stand so he can play some
Yeah.
baseball, and like he loves like his cousins play soccer around here. So like I said, I'm just gonna be the one that openly lets him choose. But I feel like he's gonna be seeing me play basketball for hopefully the next 10 to 12 years, and he'll probably more so gravitate
Yeah.
towards that. But like I said, whatever is gonna make him happy, I don't even care if he even plays any sports. But whatever is gonna make him happy, I'll be right there cheering him on because I know that if he's happy, I'm gonna be happy, and my wife will be happy. So not gonna be a pushover like that. No.
No doubt. How is the teaching process of your son of the
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
bending of the knees for the proper jump shot? Like,
It's
is he
actually
kind of understanding, or you just kind of
it's actually crazy you say that. I believe like I'm teaching him good and he's like picking it up really well. Like I'm like we're at the point where we have to like put his little small Tykes hoop on the highest one because he's shooting the ball so high up in the air. So we're still trying to get the accuracy down pat, but he's like moving along at a very good pace. So I'm like hoping in the next couple years I could find like a basketball league or something overseas that he can play in and just have fun. Like that's what it's all about when kids play sports. About the youth, it's about having fun, not so much about X's and O's and winning and all that.
Well, with the height gene, he'll be dunking in no time.
no
So
doubt.
you got to get
I
ready.
hope so.
He's gonna be so cultured. He's gonna be so tall. He's gonna be like, he's gonna be so versed in different languages. He's the most interesting kid in school. I'll tell you that. But we'd love to touch on this topic, vacations. I don't know if you've taken any vacations yet with the family, or things that are on the bucket list, or maybe things that you'll never experience together. Josh is a huge Disney person, and there's a lot of people that would like the last thing they want to do is like be in lines in like the scorching heat in Florida, or I guess you can go to California,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Disneyland,
Or Paris.
yeah, or Paris, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So like I said, we are a vacation family. Like we play since we're overseas. Like I said, I play basketball a couple out like 4 or 5 hours a day, and like 4 or 5 times we have multiple off days, and it's like multiple breaks in the season. So last year, wow, so I was in Madrid, Spain last year, and we went to Valencia, which is like a beach city, like amazing. We was there
Yes.
for 3 or 4 days, went around there, and then we had another break and we went to Malaga, which is another beach area, which is
Oh, nice.
beautiful. Yeah, so we try to go to 2 vacations a year, like while we're out there. But then when we come home, it's like it's kind of harder now that we have this kid. But we did talk about when the kids get older, we do want to make a Disney trip, the one to Orlando for sure. Like that's on our bucket list for sure when the
Ew.
kids get a little bit older, so they can understand it and take it all in. But yeah, we're for sure always trying to vacation and just explore different things, especially being in Europe. It's so easy to travel to different places and it's so much cheaper. And like
Yeah.
we take the train everywhere, like everywhere in Europe. So for sure.
I'm kind of curious, what is taking a train with your kids like? Because I've never done that with our daughter, and I don't really know what's different than flying with taking a train there.
It's like a slower airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's basically
More patience.
basically more patience, and I mean, but like I said, with the 2-year-old man, it's so hard. Like I'm just so trying to get him to just calm down, but I have to remember he's 2, he's curious, he just can't sit in one area. Like he just roams around the house. We trying to buy baby gates and stuff to get him down, but he's all over the place. But also, even when he was young, like for the flights and the like, he was so good on flights. Like not that bad. I mean, one time he was sick on a flight back from my wife when she went by herself, so that was kind of bad. But like I said, I feel like my kids aren't really that bad. I mean, I bet you every single parent probably says that, but like I didn't heard some crazy kids on flights crying, and I think everybody has heard that. But yeah, I would say that I don't really think it's that bad. But like I said, I feel like trains are more they're easier for people with kids because you don't got to go in there and wait. You just have to go in there, check in your bags, and then you go wait for the train. You don't have to walk all through the airport and do this and do that. So, and plus in Europe, train is so much accessible and cheaper. So why not?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Trains.
Everything's closer.
Take trains if you can. Airplanes, I feel like the car.
Pass.
Most dads love the car. I've talked to a lot of dads, and they just if it's a 4 hour or less trip, like they're driving, they're not flying.
Oh
Yeah.
You know
no,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Like
I mean, I have to fly. Go.
sorry. Well, when I was in Madrid, we drove to Valencia was 3 hours, and I drove, and we drove, and from to Madrid to Malaga was 5.5 hours, and I still drove because I feel like if I had to drive, I would drive. If it's 10, 12 hours, I would still drive because the plane and
Ooh,
train is still like I love to drive, so my wife it's easier, perfect.
So, are you driving the minivan yet?
No, not yet. So we just bought our first car last year, which is just a nice little SUV with the 2 bucket seats. So I have two, well, captain seats with the 2 car seats in
Yeah.
them. So
yes,
we're still trying to
sir.
keep
Oh
it
yeah.
stylish. Like not if we end up having one more, then the minivan might have to be the answer. But as for right now, no, we're trying to keep it a little bit of style still.
All right.
Are the kids watching anything in the car? Are they into shows yet? We'd love to ask this question. Um, Josh is a huge Disney person, like I said, and he probably can rattle off a million movies that he wants to watch with his daughter Billy.
That's right.
I don't know if there was any movies that you enjoy watching with them or shows that they just kill in the back seat on Netflix. I mean, we got Coco Melon.
Yeah, my son,
What are all the other ones? Bluey.
he he
Bluey's
is
great.
infatuated from probably from year to now. I mean, now it's Blippy, like on YouTube. He is just you put that on, he sits in his little chair, get him his water and a little snack or a bar, and he sits there and can watch that all day. Like, but then back when he was like last year was Coco Melon, and me and my wife would just get so tired of hearing these melodies and this kind of stuff. But it would just would
Yep.
like he would just sit there and just be fine. And I feel like I don't know why it gets kind of a bad like connotation or like but he learned a lot from watching this kind of stuff and like talking and colors and a lot of stuff. And I don't see a problem with it. I mean, we don't sit and just plop him down and let him watch it all day, but for him to like learn and hear stuff and he can say it back, I think is very beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Coco Melon from an adult standpoint, we bring it up all the time. It's a little creepy, I guess, but
No, it
at the
is
same
for sure.
time, they're learning stuff. So if they're learning, you know?
Right,
Yeah, think about
right.
Barney though.
Yeah,
Like what we
Barney's
watch.
weird too.
Barney was
Yeah,
really
That's
creepy.
a weird show. It's a
Barney
dinosaur
was
with a bunch of kids.
Teletubbies.
Blue's
That was
Clues.
yeah, that was
Oh yeah.
Oh, Teletubbies. Oh my gosh. Um, but I feel like you're gonna have a really good answer for this last question here before I turn it over to Josh because he always likes to have one last
I
question.
do.
What toy or gadget would you recommend for new dads out there? It could be a type of stroller, it could be like a crib, maybe the snoo. It could be a certain, I don't know, rattle, bottle. I'm gonna leave
Yeah,
this up to
so
you.
Yeah.
Open ended.
that's a tough one. So I would probably, so I say with the second one, I feel like we were going to get a snoo, but we just were like, we're only going to be here for 2 months. So, I mean, like the financial aspect wouldn't be smart, but we found like this, I think it's a Graco baby bassinet like thing. And that for nights and naps, it works perfect. Like we were like, whoa, because with our first one, we
Okay.
didn't know what to do. Like we just were like, so it's great. Like our first, he's 2 and he still sleeps in the bed with us. Like that's I don't know how people would take that, but he's still in bed. Like so, but this with the second one with this bassinet, it's amazing. Like I would say, find you one that can rock back and forth and play like the white noise. Oh, it's killer, dude. Like as I
Yeah.
said, the sleep is way better than the first one.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend a sound machine.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Yeah.
do, sound machine next to the bed.
Like 100%.
Yeah. My
That's
daughter still
yeah.
sleeps with this music light that
Yes.
we got, and I'm like deathly afraid to take it away from her because I'm like, is she in like a hypnotic trance? Like if I pull this out right now,
She's gonna panic.
yeah, just like wake up, like disrupt the REM sleep. But no, that is awesome. We're gonna have to look that up. We haven't heard that one yet. But I'm gonna leave this.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Oh, I
Josh.
got one.
Go ahead.
All right. So I've been kind of thinking about this one before you even got on, but I'm kind of curious the difference in parenting overseas as opposed to America, whether it's going out to eat, what they're like if you've got a baby with you, or going to the park and everyone speaks a different language, or whatever it is. What was it like parenting overseas as opposed to being in the US?
So I would say the best experience I had was last year in Spain. We were like the COVID restrictions were down, so we were able to go to the playgrounds and go out to eat. And um, sorry about this.
This is Agent. Dude, he's
Sorry
getting the
about that.
call.
Yeah,
He's
sorry
getting
about
the
that.
call.
Sorry.
No.
But
You're
no,
good.
yeah, being in Spain and like so my kid, he really loved to go to the playgrounds, and it was a lot of different kids there, and their moms would be there, and like it's funny, like he just randomly started to say hola like to anybody that he would like come up to, just say hola, like, and it just was like the funniest thing how just like him hearing that from other kids and their parents. And but no, it was good because like where we was at, a lot of the parents would speak English, and like they would be like just asking us
That's good.
questions like, oh man, like how's he been around here, like have you found any other kids? So he would find kids that he can play with every like a couple days a week, so that was good. And then like going to the restaurants, man, I don't know. I'm the parent that like I hate my child like screaming in the restaurant. Being, I feel like I just, but it's like I guess that's what kids
Yeah.
do. So, but like, yeah, like I said, that with the restaurants, I feel like is it's about the same as like as it would be in America. But I would say just like him going to the playgrounds and him hearing other kids speaking a different language, like it was just like I said, it's just amazing how like a lot of people don't really get to go to Europe and see that side of the world, but it's really a lot simpler than what it is over here. Like I said, like I'm an advocate that I would love to live over there when I'm done playing basketball, just because I love the lifestyle of how it is. So yeah, if that answers the question.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I totally get the whole lifestyle thing over there because I always say if I didn't live in the US, I'd probably be in London or something.
Mm-hmm.
But just being over in Europe's a completely different place. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that you get to have that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not a lot of guys get to have that out of the country experience, especially with the family. You know what I mean? But dude, we really appreciate your time. I know you got a huge week, busy week. We wish you nothing but the
Best
best.
of luck, man.
Yeah, we're rooting
Thank
for you
you,
over
thank
here on
you,
Locker
thank
Room
you.
Dads. But yeah, thank you all for listening. Locker Room Dads, we drop every Wednesday. So we will talk to you guys next week. Kwan, appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt. Later, guys. Locker Room Dads is powered by Mantra Labs. After my buddy Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP, recommended this amazing new nutrition line to me, as a professional athlete, I had to listen to hear what he had to say. So let me tell you, Mantra Labs is an absolute game changer. For all you dads out there looking to have more energy, better hydration, and better sleep, look no further. Mantra Labs is the stop for you. So we've actually partnered with them, and they provide 25% off everything on their site. So go visit them at gomantralabs.com. Enter Locker Room Dads with no space for 25% checkout.